I just have to start with this amazing quote from Prime Minister of Canada, Trudeau. He was talking about the protesters this weekend, and he said, and I quote, "They don't believe in science. They're often misogynistic, often racist. They take up space. And with that, we have to make a choice in terms, do we tolerate these people?" Wait, what? I've heard this before. Just in the 1920s, I think, when they were thinking about gas chambers, etc., etc. Here's George Bernard Shaw.
I don't want to punish anybody, but there are an extraordinary number of people whom I want to kill. I think it would be a good thing to make everybody come before a properly appointed board, just as he might come before the income tax commissioners, and say every 5 years or every 7 years, just put him there and say, "Sir or Madam, now will you be kind enough to justify your existence? If you're not producing as much as you consume, or perhaps a little more, then clearly we cannot use the big organization of our society for the purpose of keeping you alive, because your life does not benefit us, and it can't be of very much use to yourself."
Isn't that incredible? That's George Bernard Shaw. He's the guy that they credited with the first idea of the gas chambers that later happened in Nazi Germany. He was serious about it. He was a progressive. He was a friend of Margaret Sanger. Take these people seriously. It's the same kind of people and the same kind of thinking. And every day that goes by, it becomes more and more clear. They'll do anything. I don't know if you saw the news, hope you did, about Clinton and the Durham report. Another step has been taken in the Durham report. They have already charged the Clinton campaign subcontractor, Dachenko, for allegedly lying about the sourcing behind the so-called Steele dossier that he helped compile. So we know now, we've known this for a while, press really hasn't said anything about it, but the Steele dossier came from the Clinton campaign. We know that now. Michael Sussman, the former law partner of the Clinton campaign, the general counsel, Mark Elias, they were indicted in September for lying about the work that they did for the Clinton campaign on linking Trump to a Russian bank. Now we have more information on this. Rodney Joffe, he is the guy that is identified in the filings from Durham as tech executive number 1. In the Sussman indictment and the latest filing, it shows that tech executive number 1 exploited proprietary and perhaps classified data provided by DARPA to further their own political attacks. Now, this latest filing on Joffe's activity, stating Joffe asked researchers to mine internet data to establish an inference and narrative tying then candidate Donald Trump to Russia. It was later confirmed that 2 former DARPA employees have given grand jury testimony, so it appears that Durham is following this track. So Durham has now divulged to an extent that contractors and tech experts, the same people involved in the Alpha Bank hoax. Do you remember the Alpha Bank hoax? That's when they said he has servers. Hillary Clinton was the one who came out and revealed this. They've just told us that Donald Trump has a link to an Alpha Bank in Russia, and they talk to each other at night. That's all false. We know that. Now we find out that those same people spied on the president when he was running for president, and even worse, They used and exploited their internet connections and hacked in to the executive office of the President of the United States. Donald Trump said this weekend this is worse than Watergate. He is absolutely right. What happened in Watergate? Watergate was President Nixon using former spies, et cetera, and then also using some of the departments does any of this sound familiar? Like the FBI and the CIA, to spy on the DNC. And they broke into the Watergate Hotel because they were looking for documents on, what are they going to do? How many ads are they going to place? Or whatever they thought they were going to find. It was worthless. It was worthless and really stupid because Nixon was going to win anyway. So the first term of Nixon went exactly like the first term of Donald Trump, where people were making accusations and you couldn't get to the bottom of it. Except in Donald Trump's case, they did impeach him. They didn't remove him. Thank God, now that we know the truth. And they got away with it. It was in Nixon's second term that he was caught. And if Trump had won a second term, and see if this doesn't make sense now on why they had to get him out of office, if he won a second term, all these people would be in jail. This would have happened real fast. But now you have the media covering this. Where is the media? Do you remember when Donald Trump was running and he was on 60 Minutes with Leslie Stahl? And listen to the lecture she gave him when he said, look, the evidence is there. They were spying on me. Listen.
So the biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
Well, there's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is. No. It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? This is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie, and you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
As a matter of fact, I don't know that.
Okay.
Well, Leslie, you know it now. You know it now. So are you going to be issuing an apology, and will 60 Minutes be running this story in the upcoming 60 Minutes? I don't really care because I don't think anybody watches 60 Minutes anymore. You're completely irrelevant. You used to stand for something, but you don't anymore. And we all understand that. And that's why nobody is going to cable news or to traditional news. Just not going there. We know who you are. We know now. I mean, if Donald Trump, if this isn't again, total vindication of Donald Trump, there was no Alpha Bank. That was Hillary Clinton. They were spying on them. It was Hillary Clinton. And even worse than what Donald Trump said there, spying on my campaign, they were spying and broke into the executive branch, the White House, and they got into their internet and got into their mail and everything else. Are you kidding me? This should be life in prison. If you are, as a candidate, you and all those involved should go to prison. You become a banana republic. We are a banana republic. Let's be honest about it. We have a media that is in bed with the federal government. And we have tech executives and we have big tech in bed also with the federal government. And they're all protecting their ass. We have the CIA and the FBI in bed with the left. You know this. You know this because of what's happening with the truckers. Has anybody noticed what they're saying now about the truckers, not in Canada, but the truckers here, and anyone here who gave money to the truckers in Canada? You got to be stopped. They are now spying on people. I'm sorry. They're just watching the internet. Now, it's weird that they're watching the internet for people who are peacefully gathering with trucks. But they just couldn't watch the internet and, find out somebody was buying gasoline and matches and we're going to burn cities to the ground. Or, hey, let's meet at Macy's in Herald Square and let's go to Macy's and just take all of the stuff out of Macy's. Let's loot it. They couldn't stop that. You know what this government has become? It is the Stasi. It is. It is the KGB. It's the SS. At best, it's J. Edgar Hoover. And you remember how the left hated J. Edgar Hoover? J. Edgar Hoover was spying on everybody. Everybody who was anybody in America, he had a dossier on. And he would illegally wiretap. He would listen. What they did to Martin Luther King as the FBI, they did that covertly and denied it. They are doing it openly now. And nobody seems to care. Is anyone going to care? Is anyone even going to report it in the mainstream media? Guys, you're running out of time. If you don't change your ways right now, you are done. You're on the wrong side of history. If you can't admit that Hillary Clinton was spying her campaign and broke all kinds of laws, lied, used you, and I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, mainstream media, used you. Now, if it really was usury, I don't know, when somebody uses me and destroys my reputation, I get very upset. You know when I don't get upset is when I was part of it and I knew. And that's when I go quiet. At least that's when I would go quiet had I done something like the press did.